intimated to join the bridge course on biology. So Viresh, by name Viresh, has entered the session. Welcome all from 9th standard students. Today we'll be having the bridge course on biology. Okay, try to watch the video completely and note down very important points, and that will be very useful for your pre-test and post-test. Now you will be observing the video. If you have any doubts in that, you can convey your doubts at final. Okay, now try to watch these videos completely. Okay, Anuraga from 9th B. Okay, Anuraga, I'll be connecting the class for Kannada version very soon. Okay, today we'll be having class for 9th of course, but for English version. Okay, now watch the video.
The fundamental units of life. The fundamental unit of life. Earth has many objects, both living and non-living. Though they show many differences, all are basically made up of matter. Matter is a thing that has weight and occupies space. It is made up of very small particles called molecules. Molecules, in turn, are made up of much more minute particles known as atoms. Both living and non-living things are made up of numerous molecules and atoms. Molecules of any substance are arranged in a definite pattern. Example, water has one atom of oxygen to which are attached two hydrogen atoms. Hence, the molecular formula of water is H2O. Similarly, ammonia molecule has one nitrogen atom attached to it and three hydrogen atoms. Hence, the molecular formula for ammonia is NH3. Glucose is a simple sugar that gives energy to the living system. Its molecule has 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms and 6 oxygen atoms. So, the molecular formula for glucose is C6H12O6. In glucose, there are several compounds containing carbon. All these are called organic substances. Organic compounds are composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Often, they also have nitrogen. Example, urea. Life as a product of chemical changes. Life on Earth is presumed to be formed by a number of slow and continuous chemical changes. In the beginning, inorganic and organic molecules in water combined and produced various substances generally called building blocks. They include sugars, organic acids, amino acids, etc. These building blocks, on aggregation, produce larger biological molecules, which later concentrated to form the primitive life in the form of cells. Cellular nature of living organisms. We all know well today that all living forms are made up of smallest, ultimate units called cells. They may be either unicellular, that is having a single cell, or multicellular, that is made up of many cells. A cell is a fundamental, structural, and functional unit of an organism. In 1665, Robert Hooke gave the name cell to this basic unit. Cell biology or cytology is the branch of biology that deals with the study of cell. Development of cytology. The contributions of many earlier scientists, mainly Robert Hooke, Leeuwenhoek, M.J. Schleiden, and P. Schwann, have led to the development of cytology. In recent days, developments of cytology are manifold. Robert Hooke, an English scientist, in 1665, was the first person to reveal the cellular nature of living organisms. He observed a thin slice of cork under the microscope. He found the honeycomb-like chambers. He called them as cells, and thought of cells being filled with juices. But actually, what he saw were empty spaces, not true cells, left behind after living portions of cells had destroyed. Field workers of 17th century also used microscopes to study living organisms. Microscopes of different models were constructed for a better study. Hence, The developments in cytology went parallel with the developments in the construction of various kinds of microscopes. This too opened up a new world. Dutch businessman Anthony van Leeuwenhoek developed interest in making lenses, and this led to the development of microscopes. He studied both living and non-living things with the microscopes. He made an observation of his own teeth crack and found small moving bodies which he called them as animalcules. 19th century witnessed various developments, particularly in constructing better compound microscopes. In 1838 to 39, two German scientists, Schlegel and Schwann, put forth a theory, popularly known as cell theory. This theory became one of the major milestones in the field of cytology. The main principles of cell theory are: all living organisms are made up of cells. The body of living organisms is made of one or more cells. All cells arise from the division of pre-existing cells. Structure of a cell is better studied using an electron microscope. When an object of minute size is observed under electron microscope, the highly magnified image of the object is caught on photographic film. This is called electron photomicrograph. Such a structure revealed by the electron microscope is called fine structure or ultrastructure. Shape and size. Cells vary both in their shape and size. They may be spherical, oval, elongated, spindle-shaped, or sometimes irregular. Example: Cocci bacteria is spherical, yeast cell is oval, nerve cell is elongated, euglena and some muscle cells are spindle-shaped, and amoeba is irregular. Size of a cell varies from a few microns to several millimeters. Cell structure. Any cell shows three main parts, namely cell membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus. Cell membrane. The cell is surrounded by a thin membrane called cell membrane or plasma membrane. It occurs in both plant and animal cells. The cell membrane allows only certain molecules to pass through it. Hence, cell membrane is also called semi-permeable or selectively permeable membrane. This function keeps the inside composition of cell almost stable, which is essential for the survival of the cell. The movement of molecules across membrane takes place through the following physiological processes. Diffusion. It is a process of movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. The difference in concentration is called the concentration gradient. Hence, diffusion is also defined as the movement of molecules along the concentration gradient. Osmosis. This is a special kind of diffusion involving water or solvent molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Diffusion and osmosis are purely physical processes which do not use energy and are hence together called passive transport. However, often cell also absorbs or removes essential substances against the concentration gradient, that is, from an area of low concentration gradient to an area of high concentration. This is known as active transport. It uses energy. The movement of sodium and potassium ions across the cell membrane is an example of active transport. Absorption of food molecules in the small intestinal wall involves both passive and active transport mechanism. Experiment to demonstrate diffusion. Place few crystals of potassium permanganate in a beaker containing water. The purple color gradually spreads and finally the water becomes completely colored. This is due to diffusion of molecules. Open the mouth of a perfume bottle. The smell of the perfume gradually spreads to the whole area. This is also due to diffusion. Experiment to demonstrate osmosis. Take a potato, make it into two halves. Remove the skin of one half and make a cavity in the middle so that it becomes a cup. Place a small volume of strong sugar solution in the cup. Mark the level of the solution using a pin. Now, place the cup in a trough containing water. Leave for a few hours and observe later. There is an increase in the sugar solution in the cup due to the osmotic movement of water through the semi-permeable cell membrane or cells of potato. Similarly, keep raisins, that is dried grapes, in water for some time. The raisins swell in size due to the movement of water into raisins of water by the process of osmosis. Cell wall. In plants, the cells have a rigid cover outside the cell membrane. This is called the cell wall. It is generally made up of cellulose. The cell wall is also made up of other forms of carbohydrates like hemicellulose and pectic substances. Cell wall provides definite shape to the cell rigidity and support to the plant body. Cytoplasm. This is the fluid part of the cell, enclosed within the cell membrane. It is a gel-like substance composed of large amounts of water and many chemical substances. Cytoplasm contains large number of structures which are engaged in different life processes. These are called cell organelles. They are often differentiated into membranous organelles. Example: Endoplasmic Reticulum, Golgi complex, vacuoles, Mitochondria, plastids, and Lysosomes, and also into non-membranous organelles. Example: Ribosomes and Centrioles. Membranous organelles. Endoplasmic Reticulum. This is a network of membrane scattered throughout the cytoplasm of the cell. It extends between the cell membrane and the nucleus. Endoplasmic reticulum forms cell skeleton or cytoskeleton and hence provides mechanical support to the cell. It also helps in the transport of materials from one part of the cell to the other. A part of endoplasmic reticulum will have ribosomes attached on its membranes, giving a rough appearance. This is called rough endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum without the ribosomes is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Golgi complex. It is a compact cytoplasmic organelle made up of different flattened membranous structures. Numerous vesicles are cut off from their edges. It is believed to be associated with the process of cell secretion. Vacuoles. Vacuoles are common in most plant cells but are very rare in animal cells. There may be one or more vacuoles in a single cell. The vacuoles encloses watery fluid within it called a cell sac. Vacuole is bound by a membrane called chloroplasts. The cell sac contains salts, sugars, organic acids, and waste products dissolved in water. A plant vacuole has a variety of functions. It can act as a storage organelle for both nutrients and waste products. Mitochondria. Mitochondria are oval or rod-shaped or filamentous organelles. Each mitochondria is made up of two membranes, an outer and an inner membrane. The outer membrane is smooth and tightly stretched, while the inner membrane has a number of inward finger-like folds called cristae. The inner membrane encloses a fluid called mitochondrial matrix. The matrix is composed of proteins, lipids, DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, that is ribonucleic acid. Mitochondria are the respiratory centers of the cells where carbohydrates and fats get completely oxidized into carbon dioxide and water, releasing energy. The energy released is stored as ATP molecules, that is adenosine triphosphate molecules. It is the ATP molecule that provides energy for any biological function. Therefore, the mitochondria are also called the powerhouses of the cells. Chloroplasts. They are the cytoplasmic organelles present in green plants only. They contain a green pigment called chlorophyll. Like mitochondria, they are made up of double membranes. The inner membrane encloses the stroma or the matrix, in which lie rows of discs made up of membranes called the granule. The plural is granule. The chloroplasts are the organelles where solar energy is converted into chemical energy. This process is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which all green plants synthesize their own food. Hence, green plants are also called autotrophs or producers. Lysosomes. They are generally spherical in form, bound by a membrane and contain several hydrolytic enzymes. These enzymes help in digestion of chemical substances within the cell. This is known as intracellular digestion. They also bring about digestion of the entire cell itself. This is known as autolysis or digestion itself. Hence, lysosomes are referred to as suicide bags of the cell. Non-membranous organelles. Ribosomes. They are minute particles which can be seen only under electron microscopes. They are rich in RNA and proteins. Ribosomes are found either attached to the membranes of the endoplasmic reticulum or scattered freely in the cytoplasm. They help in the manufacture of proteins. Hence, ribosomes are described as the protein factories of the cell. Centrioles. The cells of some algae, fungi, and all animal cells have centrioles in their cytoplasm. They are absent in cells of higher plants. The centrioles are always found in pairs, and a pair generally occurs near the nucleus. Each centriole is a hollow cylinder and lies at right angle to each other. Centrioles with transparent cytoplasm around them are known as centrosomes. They help in the formation of spindle apparatus during cell division. Nucleus. It is the most prominent part of the cell. Chapter 5. The fundamental unit of life. Fundamental unit of life. Earth has many objects, both living and non-living. Though they show many differences, all are basically made up of matter. Matter is a thing that has weight and occupies space. It is made up of very small particles called molecules. Molecules, in turn, are made up of much more minute particles known as atoms. Both living and non-living things are made up of numerous molecules and atoms. Molecules of any substance are arranged in a definite pattern. Example, water has one atom of oxygen to which are attached two hydrogen atoms. Hence, the molecular formula of water is H2O. Similarly, ammonia molecule has one nitrogen atom attached to it and three hydrogen atoms. Hence, the molecular formula for ammonia is NH3. Glucose is a simple sugar that gives energy to the living system. Its molecule has 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. So, the molecular formula for glucose is C6H12O6. In glucose, there are several compounds containing carbon. All these are called organic substances. Organic compounds are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Often, they also have nitrogen. Example, urea. Life as a product of chemical changes. Life on Earth is presumed to be formed by a number of slow and continuous chemical changes. In the beginning, inorganic and organic molecules in water combined and produced various substances generally called building blocks. They include sugars, organic acids, amino acids, etc. These building blocks, on aggregation, produce larger biological molecules, which later concentrated to form the primitive life in the form of cells. Cellular nature of living organisms. We all know well today that all living forms are made up of smallest, ultimate units called cells. They may be either unicellular, that is having single cell, or multicellular, that is made up of many cells. A cell is a fundamental, structural, and functional unit of an organism. In 1665, Robert Hooke gave the name cell to this basic unit. Cell biology or cytology is the branch of biology that deals with the study of cell. Development of cytology. The contributions of many earlier scientists, mainly Robert Hooke, Leeuwenhoek, M.J. Schleiden, and T. Schwann, have led to the development of cytology. In recent days, developments of cytology are manifold. Robert Hooke, an English scientist, in 1665 was the first person to reveal the cellular nature of living organisms. He observed a thin slice of cork under the microscope. He found the honeycomb-like chambers. He called them as cells, and thought of cells being filled with juices, but actually what he saw were empty spaces, not true cells, left behind after living portions of cells had destroyed. Field workers of 17th century also used microscopes to study living organisms. Microscopes of different models were constructed for a better study. Hence, the developments in cytology went parallel with the developments in the construction of various kinds of microscopes. This too opened up a new world. Dutch businessman Antony van Leeuwenhoek developed interest in making lenses, and this led to the development of microscopes. He studied both living and non-living things with the microscopes. He made an observation of his own teeth crack and found small moving bodies which he called them as animalcules. 19th century witnessed various developments, particularly in constructing better compound microscopes. In 1838 to 39, two German scientists, Schleiden and Schwann, put forth a theory, popularly known as cell theory. This theory became one of the major milestones in the field of cytology. The main principles of cell theory are: all living organisms are made up of cells. The body of living organisms is made of one or more cells. All cells arise from the division of pre-existing cells. Structure of a cell is better studied using an electron microscope. When an object of minute size is observed under electron microscope, the highly magnified image of the object is caught on a photographic film. This is called electron photomicrograph. Such a structure revealed by the electron microscope is called fine structure or ultrastructure. Shape and size. Cells vary both in their shape and size. They may be spherical, oval, elongated, spindle-shaped, or sometimes irregular. Example: Cocci bacteria is spherical, yeast cell is oval, nerve cell is elongated, euglena and some muscle cells are spindle-shaped, and amoeba is irregular. Size of a cell varies from a few microns to several millimeters. Cell structure. Any cell shows three main parts, namely cell membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus. Cell membrane. The cell is surrounded by a thin membrane called cell membrane or plasma membrane. It occurs in both plants and animal cells. The cell membrane allows only certain molecules to pass through it. Hence, cell membrane is also called semi-permeable or selectively permeable membrane. This function keeps the inside composition of cell almost stable, which is essential for the survival of the cell. The movement of molecules across membrane takes place through the following physiological processes. Diffusion. It is a process of movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. The difference in concentration is called the concentration gradient. Hence, diffusion is also defined as the movement of molecules along the concentration gradient. Osmosis. This is a special kind of diffusion involving water or solvent molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Diffusion and osmosis are purely physical processes which do not use energy and are hence together called passive transport. However, often cell also absorbs or removes essential substances against the concentration gradient, that is, from an area of lower concentration gradient to an area of higher concentration. This is known as active transport. It uses energy. The movement of sodium and potassium ions across the cell membrane is an example of active transport. Absorption of food molecules in the small intestinal wall involves both passive and active transport mechanism. Experiment to demonstrate diffusion. Place few crystals of potassium permanganate in a beaker containing water. The purple color gradually spreads and finally the water becomes completely colored. This is due to diffusion of molecules. Open the mouth of a perfume bottle. The smell of the perfume gradually spreads to the whole area. This is also due to diffusion. Experiment to demonstrate osmosis. Take a potato, make it into two halves. Remove the skin of one half and make a cavity in the middle so that it becomes a cup. Place a small volume of strong sugar solution in the cup. Mark the level of the solution using a pin. Now, place the cup in a trough containing water. Leave for a few hours and observe later. There is an increase in the sugar solution in the cup due to the osmotic movement of water through the semi-permeable cell membrane or cells of potato. Similarly, keep raisins, that is dried grapes, in water for some time. The raisins swell in size due to the movement of water into raisins of water by the process of osmosis. Cell wall. In plants, the cells have a rigid cover outside the cell membrane. This is called the cell wall. It is generally made up of cellulose. The cell wall is also made up of other forms of carbohydrates like hemicellulose and pectin substances. Cell wall provides definite shape to the cell rigidity and support to the plant body. Cytoplasm. This is the fluid part of the cell, enclosed within the cell membrane. It is a gel-like substance composed of large amount of water and many chemical substances. Cytoplasm contains large number of structures which are engaged in different life processes. These are called cell organelles. They are often differentiated into membranous organelles. Example: Endoplasmic Reticulum, Golgi complex, vacuoles, Mitochondria, plastids and Lysosomes, and also into non-membranous organelles. Example: Ribosomes and Centrioles. Membranous organelles. Endoplasmic Reticulum. This is a network of membrane scattered throughout the cytoplasm of the cell. It extends between the cell membrane and the nucleus. Endoplasmic reticulum forms cell skeleton or cytoskeleton and hence provides mechanical support to the cell. It also helps in the transport of materials from one part of the cell to the other. A part of endoplasmic reticulum will have ribosomes attached on its membranes, giving a rough appearance. This is called rough endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum without the ribosomes is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Golgi complex. It is a compact cytoplasmic organelle made up of different flattened membranous structures. Numerous vesicles are cut off from their edges. It is believed to be associated with the process of cell secretion. Vacuoles. Vacuoles are common in most plant cells but are very rare in animal cells. There may be one or more vacuoles in a single cell. The vacuoles encloses watery fluid within it called the cell sac. Vacuole is bound by a membrane called chloroplast. Cell sac contains salts, sugars, organic acids, and waste products dissolved in water. A plant vacuole is a variety of functions. It can act as a storage organelle for both nutrients and waste products. Mitochondria. Mitochondria are oval or rod-shaped or filamentous organelles. Each mitochondria is made up of two membranes, an outer and an inner membrane. The outer membrane is smooth and tightly stretched, while the inner membrane has a number of inward finger-like pores called cristae. The inner membrane encloses a fluid called Mitochondrial Matrix. The matrix is composed of proteins, lipids, DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, that is ribonucleic acid. Mitochondria are the respiratory centers of the cells where carbohydrates and fats get completely oxidized into carbon dioxide and water, releasing energy. The energy released is stored as ATP molecules, that is adenosine triphosphate molecules. It is the ATP molecule that provides energy for any biological function. Therefore, the mitochondria are also called the powerhouses of the cells. Chloroplasts. They are the cytoplasmic organelles present in green plants only. They contain a green pigment called chlorophyll. Like mitochondria, they are made up of double membranes. The inner membrane encloses the stroma or the matrix, in which lie rows of discs made up of membranes called the grana. The plural is grana. The chloroplasts are the organelles where solar energy is converted into chemical energy. This process is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which all green plants synthesize their own food. Hence, green plants are also called autotrophs or producers. Lysosomes. They are generally spherical in form, bound by a membrane, and contain several hydrolytic enzymes. These enzymes help in digestion of chemical substances within the cell. This is known as intracellular digestion. They also bring about digestion of the entire cell itself. This is known as autolysis or digestion itself. Hence, lysosomes are referred to as suicide bags of the cell. Non-membranous organelles. Ribosomes. They are minute particles which can be seen only under electron microscopes. They are rich in RNA and proteins. Ribosomes are found either attached to the membranes of the endoplasmic reticulum or scattered freely in the cytoplasm. They help in the manufacture of proteins. Hence, ribosomes are described as the protein factories of the cell. Centrioles. The cells of some algae, fungi, and all animal cells have centrioles in their cytoplasm. They are absent in cells of higher plants. The centrioles are always found in pairs, and a pair generally occurs near the nucleus. Each centriole is a hollow cylinder and lies at right angle to each other. Centrioles with transparent cytoplasm around them are known as centrosomes. They help in the formation of spindle apparatus during cell division. Nucleus. It is the most prominent part of the cell. The nucleus is surrounded by a double-layered membrane called the nuclear membrane. Inside the nucleus is the fluid called nucleoplasm. Placed in the nucleoplasm is a delicate network of chromatin material. This material, during cell division, condenses into chromosomes. Chromosomes are chemically nucleoproteins, that is, nucleic acid plus proteins. The chromosome number is always constant for a given species of organisms, but varies from species to species. Example, the cells of human body carry 46 chromosomes, that is 23 pairs of chromosomes. These chromosomes of cells are loaded in a linear form with hereditary units called genes. Each gene determines a particular character of an organism. During the formation of a new progeny or generation, chromosomes with genes are passed on from the parents to the offspring. This is called inheritance. The genes are chemically made up of DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid. The nucleus controls and coordinates all the activities of the cell. Nucleolus. Nucleolus contains one or more spherical dark bodies called nuclei. It is the site of RNA synthesis and plays an important role in the control of protein synthesis. Cell inclusions. They are non-living substances found in the cytoplasm. They are more common among plant cells. The cell inclusions are represented by various chemicals which are present as storage products, example, starch granules and oil droplets, secretory products, example, gums, resins, etc., and excretory products, example, calcium oxalate crystals and calcium carbonate.
Okay, this completes the first chapter, fundamental unit of life. We'll move on to another chapter, tissues.
Chapter 6, Tissues. Tissues. All living beings are made up of cells. Some organisms are made up of single cell and they are called as unicellular organisms. They are able to perform all the activities of the life. Example, amoeba, paramecium. In multicellular organisms, the structure of the body is more complex and are formed of a large number of cells specialized for specific functions. Histology, the branch of biology which deals with the study of tissues and their arrangement in the organs, is called as histology. Tissues, a group of cells which are similar in origin, structure and function, are called tissues. Organs, different types of tissues constitute an organ. Thus, the different organs of an organism performing a set of common functions are called an organ system. Plant tissues. Plant tissues are classified on the basis of ability or inability to divide into meristematic tissues and permanent tissues, respectively. The different types of tissues are classified as meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues. The term meristematic is derived from the Greek word meristos, which means divisible. They are the cells which are capable of continuous division. They are closely packed cells without intercellular spaces. They are located in the growing regions like the root tip, stem apex and buds. Meristems situated in the root and stem apex are referred to as apical meristems. They occur at the bases of leaves or internodes or intercalary meristems. Functions. Apical meristems help to attain the height of the plant. Lateral meristems help in increase in the growth of the plant, and intercalary meristems grow fast and change into permanent tissues and are responsible for branching of the plant. Adipose tissue, areolar tissue, ciliated epithelium, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, epidermal tissue, meristems, parenchyma, phloem in Ellis, sclerenchyma, squamous epithelium, xylem tracheids, meristematic tissue, xylem and phloem. Simple permanent. They are the well-differentiated tissues derived from meristems. The cells of the permanent tissues become specialized to perform specific functions and generally lose their ability to divide. Cells may be thin-walled or thick-walled. Permanent tissues are classified into simple permanent and complex tissues. Simple permanent. They are composed of a similar type of similar cells that performs a common function. Simple permanent are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Parenchyma. This is composed of large thin-walled cells which are generally oval or spherical in shape. The cells are not packed compactly, that is, the cells possess intercellular spaces. These are living cells with thin walls and thin cytoplasm, nucleus and a permanent vacuole. Parenchyma is found in the soft parts of the plant like root, stem, leaf, flower, fruit and seeds. Functions: storing of food, fill the spaces between other tissues. When they contain chloroplasts, they perform photosynthesis. Columnar. These are composed of living cells. These are differentiated as a special type of parenchyma. The cells are vertically elongated with the cell walls unevenly thickened. The thickening of the cell wall is due to the deposition of cellulose and pectic substances. There are no intercellular spaces. Functions. It provides mechanical support to the plant organs. Hence, they are often termed as living mechanical tissue. It provides flexibility to the plant. It is generally absent in roots. Sclerenchyma. This is composed of long, narrow cells whose walls are thickened by lignin. The cells of sclerenchyma lose protoplasm and become dead. The cells are grouped into fibers and sclerites. Fibers are elongated sclerenchyma cells with pointed ends. Fibers are in abundance in plants like jute, flax, coconut, and hemp. Fibers are used in the manufacture of ropes, carpets, paper industries, and textile industries. Fibers are commonly found in xylem and pollen. Functions. Sclerites are also known stone cells. Sclerites are distributed in soft tissues like cortex of stem, flesh of fruits, mesophyll of leaves. The hard shell of seeds and fruits consists of sclerites. Sclerenchyma provides mechanical support, so it is called dead mechanical tissue. Complex permanent tissue. They are composed of 7 types of cells associated to perform a specialized function. The complex tissues are xylem and pollen. Xylem, it is permanent, complex vascular tissue, mainly responsible for the conduction of water. It is mainly called water-conducting tissue. It consists of many types of elements. The non-living elements are tracheids, xylem vessels or trachea, xylem fibers. The living element is xylem parenchyma. Functions. These tissues help in transportation of materials. Hence, they are referred to as vascular tissues or conducting tissues. Xylem parenchymatous is made up of parenchymatous cells which store food and help in the lateral conduction of water or sap. Pollen. It is another complex tissue which helps in transportation of food or organic solids. Hence, it is known as water-conducting tissue. Pollen is made up of 4 types of cells or elements. Example, seed tubes, companion cells, pollen fibers, and pollen parenchyma. Seed tubes are a collection of thin-walled elongated cells placed end to end to form slender tubular structure. The cell wall have seed-like pores and are called seed plates. The seed tubes do not have nuclei. Companion cells are closely associated with seed tubes and are connected through pores. These are small cells with cytoplasm and nucleus. These are not present in all plants. Functions. Pollen fibers provide tensile strength to the plant body. These are economically important. Example, jute fiber. Xylem and pollen are arranged together and are called vascular bodies. Epidermal tissue. The plant body is covered by a tissue called epidermis. It is covered by a waxy substance called cutin and a layer called cuticle. Cuticle prevents the loss of water from the cells. Epidermis is a protective layer. In leaves, the epidermis consists of minute openings or pores called as stomata. Each stoma has a bean-shaped cell called as stomata. The opening and closure of stomata are due to the activity of guard cells. helps in the control of rate of transpiration, functions. The hairs present in the epidermal cells help in absorption of water and mineral salts of the soil. The epidermal cells in some leaves are modified into digestive glands, which help in the digestion of insects. Animal tissues. The animal tissues are classified into epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue, and nervous tissue. Epithelial tissue. The external and internal surfaces of the body are made up of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue consists of simple epithelium. If it consists of many layers, then it is called as stratified epithelium. Based on the shape, epithelial tissue is classified into squamous, columnar, cuboidal, and ciliated. Squamous epithelium. This consists of plate-like cells. They are compactly arranged like tiles on the floor. Hence, they are called pavement epithelium. The cells consist of nucleus, which is centrally located. It is located in the outer layer of skin, in blood vessels, alveoli, in esophagus, and chambers of heart. Functions: protecting the internal organs and allowing diffusion to take place. Columnar epithelium. The cells are tall, pillar or column-like. The cells have narrow ends. The cells are uninucleated and nucleus is located near the basal ends. It is found in the inner layer of stomach, small intestine, pharynx, larynx and oviduct. Functions: secretion and absorption. It provides mechanical support. Muscle cells are fiber-like structures. Hence, these are called as muscle fiber. Muscle fibers contract and relax to make the movement of the body possible. The muscles of the organs are like the limbs and are under the control of the individual. They are called voluntary muscles. The muscles are of three types: striated, non-striated, and cardiac muscles. Striated muscles. These are also called as striated or striped muscles. They are usually attached to bones and therefore they are called as skeletal muscles. Non-striated muscles. They are called non-voluntary muscles. The muscle fibers are uninucleate and spindle-shaped without stripes, hence also known as unstriped muscles. The muscle fibers are held together by a membrane to form bundles called muscles, which are also smooth muscles. Functions: the movement in the alimentary canal which causes the passage of the food is due to the contraction of these muscles. Smooth muscles are also found in blood vessels, kidneys and glands. Cardiac muscle. These are the muscles found in the heart. These are the involuntary muscles. The muscle fibers are branched and uninucleate. They are responsible for continuous heartbeat. Connective tissue. It is an animal tissue in which the intercellular matrix forms the major part. The matrix may be jelly-like fluid or dense and rigid. Fibers are present in the matrix for some connective tissue. They can be divided into three main groups: connective tissue proper, skeletal or supportive tissue, and fluid or vascular tissue. Connective tissue proper. In this type, the matrix is homogeneous. The fibers in the matrix are loosely arranged, hence it is called as loose connective tissue. Alveolar tissue. It occurs beneath the skin, binding many tissues together. The fibers are loosely arranged with air spaces between the fibers. It consists of cells that engulf bacteria and other foreign bodies that enter the body and thus help in defense mechanism of the body. Adipose tissue consists of oval or round cells filled with fat globules.
The cells are surrounded by fine reticular fibers. The tissue store fat and act as insulator against cold and protect the body. Fibrous tissue. The fibers are densely arranged. There are two types of fibrous tissue, namely tendons and ligaments. They give stability to the skeletal framework. Reticular tissue. It consists of star-shaped cells. The matrix is formed by thick reticular fibers. The tissue provides framework for organs such as spleen, liver, bone marrow, mucus lining in respiratory tract, etc. Skeletal tissue or supporting tissues. Tissues which support the body by forming a framework are called skeletal tissues. These protect the vital organs and also help in movement. Cartilage. It is a connective tissue in which the intercellular matrix is composed of proteins, slightly hardened calcium salts. The cartilage cells are known as chondroblasts and are widely spaced, and the matrix is reinforced by fibers. It closely supports and provides flexibility. Cartilage occurs at the joint of bones in the nose, ear, trachea, larynx. In between vertebrae in the vertebral column contains collagen fibers. Bone. Tissue is chief material of skeletal system. It constitutes the major part of the body weight. Bone tissue consists bone cell are embedded in a hard matrix strengthened by fibers, hardened by calcium and phosphorus salts. The matrix is deposited in the form of concentric layers around central canal, caversian canal. The bones of limbs are filled with a fluid called bone marrow, which consists of fat and blood vessels. They produce blood cells. Fluid tissues or vascular tissue. Blood and lymph are the two fluid connective tissues. They have a fluid matrix. Blood. The liquid matrix of blood is called plasma. The red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets are suspended in the plasma. The fluid nature of plasma helps in easy transportation of various substances from one part of the body to another. The red blood corpuscles or RBCs contain a red pigment called hemoglobin, which are involved in supplying oxygen to every cell. They also carry carbon dioxide from the cells and transport that to lungs for purification. The white blood corpuscles or WBCs are involved in the defense mechanism of the body. There are different types of WBCs. Some are involved in destroying the bacteria. Platelets are disc-like bodies that help in clotting of blood. Lymph. Lymph is a colorless fluid similar to blood in structure, except it does not contain red blood cells and proteins. Only red blood cells enter the blood vessel, and remaining portion of the fluid is the lymph. Lymph is circulated in the body through different capillaries called lymph capillaries. These constitute lymph glands or lymph nodes. Lymph produce antibodies which help in immunity. It contains a type of white blood cells called phagocytes, which destroys bacteria and other foreign body tissues. Nervous tissue. It is made up of elongated cells called as nerve cells. Structure neuron consists of a cell body containing a nucleus and is called a cytosol. Short hair-like extensions arising from the cytosol are called as dendrites. The long tail-like extension of cytosol is known as axon. Axon ends with ends of branches. The axon is covered by a fatty sheath called mycelial sheath. Dendrites carry impulses towards the cytosol and axons carry messages away from the cytosol. There is a small gap present between two neurons. This is called synapse. Different neurons are held together by a sheath that constitutes nerve fibers. Several neurons together form a ganglia. The spinal cord, brain, and nerve fibers constitute the nervous system in man.
Okay, this completes tissues. We'll move on to the next chapter. Diversity in living organisms.
Chapter 7. Diversity in living organisms. Diversity in living organisms.
The disciplined study of living organisms demands their systematic grouping. Such systematic grouping of organisms is called classification. Levels of classification. Taxonomy is the branch of biology which deals with identification, classification, and naming of organisms. It is based on the interrelationships that exist among the different groups. Organisms, which are similar in all details, are placed in one group. Such a group becomes a basic unit in taxonomy, called the species. All members of a species are very similar and can interbreed with one another and produce a fertile offspring. For example, cats, dogs, rose, mango, etc. Each one forms a species of organisms. Human beings all over the world form a single species. Closely related species often interbreed, but the offspring produced is genetically sterile, that is, unable to reproduce. Cow can be bred to a buffalo to produce cattle. Similarly, goat and sheep to produce geese. Tiger and lion to produce tiger. Potato and tomato to produce tomato, etc. Such interbreeding of organisms is called hybridization. Related species of organisms are grouped together to form a genus. The genera, that is the plural form of genus, with common features are put together into a family. Similarly, families into an order, orders into a class, classes into a phylum, and several phyla into a kingdom. Example, classification or systematic position of man. Kingdom, animal. The phylum is Chordata. Class is mammalian. Order is primates. Family is Homicide. Genus is Homo. Species is Sapiens. Binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature is a scientific method of naming the living organisms. It was introduced by Carolus Linnaeus. This kind of naming the organisms has been universally accepted, and the names under this system remain unchanged irrespective of the place and language. Scientific names are in Latin, and each name has two words. The first word refers to the genus and the second to the species. Always, the first letter of the genus is written in capital, while the first letter of the species is written in small letters. Example, man, Homo sapien, cat, Felis domestica, tiger, Felis tigris, lion, Felis leo, frog, Rana hexadactyla, horse, Equus cabalus, Orange, citrus reticulated, coffee, Coffea arabica, onion, Allium cepa, garlic, Allium sativa, coconut, Cocos nucifera. Five kingdom classification. Modern biologists classify the living organisms under five major kingdoms. It was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. They are Monera, Protista, Fungi, that is Mycota, Planates, that is Metaphyta, and Animalia, that is Metazoa. Monera. This kingdom includes prokaryotes and mostly unicellular. In some, the cells remain together in short chains, filaments, or small groups. Example, bacteria and blue-green algae. Bacteria are microscopic, hence called microbes, and unicellular organisms. They are present almost everywhere. Many causes disease in plants, in man, and other organisms. Some of the activities are beneficial and hence are important in medicine, industry, and for research purposes. Bacteria may be rod-shaped, that is bacilli, or round, that is cocci, or even spiral, that is spirula. Cyanobacteria are commonly known as blue-green algae because of the presence of bluish-green pigment along with chlorophyll. They are found in fresh water, seawater, and soil. They may be single-celled or filamentous or form colonies. Example, nostoc, Oscillatoria, etc. Tista. It includes organisms which are structurally more advanced than Monera. The organisms are having eukaryotic type of cell structure. They possess a well-organized nucleus with a nuclear membrane and nucleolus. Mitochondria, Endoplasmic Reticulum, Golgi body, Lysosomes, Centrioles are also present. Example, protozoans and algae. Protozoans are microscopic and unicellular. They are both free-living and parasites. Example, amoeba, paramecium, which are the free-living forms. Entamoeba, plasmodium, which are the parasitic forms. Algae are aquatic, present in fresh water and seawater, and photosynthetic. The body is unicellular, colonial, or multicellular. Example of unicellular algae are Chlamydomonas and diatoms. Of filamentous algae are Spirogyra, Euthyrox. Colonial algae examples are Wallbox and Pendorina. Mycota. Fungi are eukaryotes without chlorophyll. They are either saprophytic, that is absorbing the nutrients from dead organic substances, or parasitic. They include unicellular forms like yeasts and multicellular forms such as mushrooms. Anthic, that is metaphyta. It includes eukaryotes, multicellular, photosynthetic plants. Cell wall around cells is made of chiefly cellulose. They have differentiated tissues and tissue systems. Example, fern, cypress, maize, beetroot, potato, mango, bean, etc. Animalia, that is metazoa. This kingdom includes eukaryotic multicellular animals. Here, the cells are differentiated into tissue organs and organ systems. Animals cannot manufacture their food. They depend on plants for food either directly or indirectly. Examples, earthworms, insects, snakes, birds, elephant, horse, man, etc.
Invertebrates are mainly classified into 8 phyla. They are Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthus, Aschelminthus, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata. Porifera. Porifera are commonly called sponges. Surface of the body is perforated by a number of pores. Hence, they are called porifera. Porifera are aquatic. Most of them are marine and some live in fresh water. The shape of the body may be flat, globular, or branched. Sponges have epithelial cells, hollow pore cells, flagellated collar cells, skeleton secreting mesenchyma cell, and wandering amoeboid cells. These cells are functionally independent of one another. Hence, sponges are described as cellular level of organization. The body encloses a large central cavity called the spongiosele. The internal surface of the cavity is lined up by flagellated cells called collar cells. Here, water enters through ostia and passes out through osculum. Osculum is the narrow opening at the exterior free end. Water flow in the body is regular and provides necessary oxygen for respiration. Sponges possess an internal skeleton in the form of crystalline structure called spicules. Minute organisms carried into the body by the water current are digested inside the cell of the body. Sponge reproduces both sexually and asexually. Some common examples of porifera are Cycon, Eupitella, Hyloneema, Euspongia. Sponges reproduce both sexually and asexually. Some common examples of porifera are Spicon, Eupitella, Hyloneema, Euspongia. The fibrous skeleton of sponges is used for bathing and washing purposes. Dry skeleton of Venus flower is used for decorative purposes. Certain sponges serve as food for molluscums. Centriata. These animals have an internal cavity called cylindron which helps in digestion. Hence the name Centriata. These animals exist in two forms. The body is made up of two layers, an outer ectoderm and inner endoderm. Hence, these organisms are called diploblastic animals. Jelly-like structure present in between the layer is called mesoglia. The body of these animal cells are called nematocysts are found and are helpful, paralyzing and capturing the prey and in defense. Musculoepithelial cells are helpful for contraction, relaxation and bending movements. Cylindroton may be simple or branched or may contain mouth surrounded by tentacles. Some of the cells in the epidermis form network in mesoglia. The ectodermal and endodermal cells are also helpful in respiration and excretion by diffusion. Reproduction. Centriata reproduces both by sexual and asexual methods. Common examples for cylindriates are Obelia, Physalia, Hydra, Aurelia, Coarse, sea animal. Uses. Corals form the colonies and deposits huge amount of lime in the form of ridges and reefs. Red corals are used for making jewelry and other pieces of art. Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes is a group of long, flattened animals which are devoid of true segmentation in the body. Hence, these animals are called flatworms. Flatworms which are living, found in water or moist soil. Parasitic worms are found inside the body of vertebrates. The body wall in flatworms is composed of 3 layers, hence they are triploblastic animals. The body wall is developed well with a muscular layer with a protective covering called cuticle. Between body wall and internal organs, there is connective tissue called parenchyma. Body cavity is absent, hence they are called acoelomates. In parasitic forms, hooks and suckers are present. Digestive system is incomplete. It does not have digestive glands. Circulatory system is absent. The branched digestive tube distributes food to all parts of the body. Respiration occurs by diffusion through body wall. Nervous system is well developed. Excretory system consists of special type of cells called flame cells. Both male and female sex organs are found in the same individual, hence they are called bisexual. Tapeworms and liver fluke causes diseases in their host. Excrements. These animals have elongated, cylindrical and unsegmented bodies. Hence, these organisms are called roundworms. The members of the phylum live in widest environment. Some of them are free-living and some are parasites. These animals are triploblastic. Body is surrounded by thick protective layer called cuticle. These animals possess simple digestive system. Space between digestive tube and body wall is called ciliocele. Respiratory and circulatory system are absent. Nervous system is well developed. There are 2 longitudinal excretory canals found on each side of the skin. Reproduction is by sexual method. All are unisexual. Some of the examples are roundworm, hookworm, sterile worm. Harmful effects. Harmful effects of these animals are most of them are parasites and hence causes several diseases in their hosts. Annelida. The elongated body of these animals is composed of partitions or annulations, hence the name Annelida. These animals are mostly aquatic and some live in moist soil. Most of them are free-living and few are parasites. Annelida are triploblastic animals. The body is covered by thin moist layer called cuticle. Below this layer there is epithelium containing glandular cells and receptor cells. The body wall has muscles which are capable of contraction. Segmentation is found outside and inside the body. In each segment, there is a representation of different organ systems. Chitinous, which serve as locomotory organ. Setae are found in earthworms. In case of Nereis, fleshy parapodia serve as locomotory organ. The cavity present between digestive system and the body wall is called coelom. The fluid present in coelom is called coelomic fluid. Complete digestive system is present in Annelida. It consists of mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, gizzard, intestine and anus. Respiration takes place through gills or skin. Blood vascular system is seen in annelids. It consists of blood, which is red in color. Heart helps the flow of blood through blood vessel. Well-developed nervous system is present. Excretion is done by a pair of ciliated tubular structures called nephridia. Reproduction is done by sexual method. Some of the examples of annelids are earthworms, leech, and nereis. Economic importance of annelids are: earthworm by their burrowing activity loosen the soil particles, enabling the roots of the plants to grow deeper. They are living factories of nature. As they play a significant role in enriching the fertility of soil, they are called farmer's friend. During this, it increases aeration and water can be easily absorbed by the plants. Arthropods. These animals have jointed legs, hence they are called the arthropods. Members of this phylum are found almost everywhere. Arthropods are cycloblastic animals. The body may be elongated or segmented. The body is segmented and each segment of the body possesses appendages and are modified into jaws, feet or gills. There is well-developed exoskeleton made up of chitinous plates on the body. This exoskeleton gives protection and structure to the body. This exoskeleton does not grow as the animal grows. This exoskeleton is shed at intervals and there is formation of new layer. The process is called molting. The body of the arthropods can be divided into three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. Muscles found in these animals are complex and are capable of contraction. Coelom is reduced and filled with blood and is called hemocoel. The blood is colorless fluid. Digestive system is complete. Mouth parts are modified for cutting, piercing, and sucking the food. Pharynx, esophagus, crop, gizzard, and intestine are helpful in digestion. Respiration occurs through the body surface. Gills and trachea are by book lungs. The vascular system is open type with a dorsal heart, arteries, and hemocoel. Nervous system consists of nerve ring, ganglion, and nerve cards. Sense organs consist of well-developed eyes, gustatory organs, antenna, balancing organs, and auditory organs. Excretory organs are Malpighian tubules or green glands. Reproduction in arthropods is by sexual method. Economic importance of the arthropods is: insects are very much useful to mankind. Insects help in burrowing, destroying dead leaves, trunks, and twigs, and enriching the soil by providing nutrients for plants, nutrients for plant growth. Silk, the valuable material obtained from silk moth. This is helpful in improving the commercial importance of the country. The honeybees provide us with honey and bee wax. Mollusca. The animals of this phylum have soft body, hence they are called mollusks. These animals are mostly aquatic. Some are found in moist soil. These are triploblastic animals. Bodies of these animals are unsegmented. The body has three divisions. The body is covered with fleshy outgrowth called mantle. Above the mantle, there is a lining of epithelial tissue, which contains shell glands, and it leads to the formation of shells. Shell serves as a protective layer and gives support to the muscles. Shells are univalve, bivalve, cone-shaped or spiral. The inner body is thick and covered by muscles. The body cavity is greatly reduced, encloses the pericardium, reproductive organs and urinogenital duct. Digestive system is complete with mouth, esophagus and anus. Moth has circular organ called radula, bearing rows of teeth helpful in grasping the food. A pair of salivary glands and a large digestive gland is present, which help in easy digestion. Respiration takes place through special structure called teneria. The blood vascular system consists of blood vessels and heart. Heart is surrounded by pericardium and it has auricles and ventricles. Blood is colorless, bluish green or red in color. The nervous system consists of 3 pairs of ganglia and 2 pairs of nerve cards. Such organs like eyes, tentacles, organs of equilibrium, organs to pursue smell, etc. are present. A pair of nephridia serves as excretory organs. Mollusks reproduce sexually. Some of the examples of mollusks are Chytion, freshwater mussel, snail, sepia, octopus. Some important use of mollusks are used as food, used as decorative material, used in the manufacture of buttons. Shell lime is used as food for birds to increase their egg production, used in the manufacture of pearls, used in the preparation of lime.
Okay, this is the example for Mollusca octopus, and it is a snail. And these are some of the examples of shell organisms. And these are the birds category. And these are the pearls extracted from the pearl oyster.
Echinodermata. The skin of these animals is covered by numerous spines. Hence they are called spiny skin animals. These echinoderms are marine animals. Echinoderms are triploblastic animals. The body of these animals may be spherical, cylindrical or star-shaped. The body covering skin is composed of calcareous units called ossicles, bearing tubercles and spines which form the endoskeleton. The body cavity is large coelom filled with coelomic fluid. Coelom has a water vascular system. Water vascular system is unique system of canals containing appendages called tube feet which extend from the body. The tube feet help in locomotion, food capturing and respiration. Digestive system is complete with mouth, esophagus, stomach, intestine, digestive glands and anus. Respiration takes place through gills, skin and through tube feet. The nervous system is of primitive type. It consists of nerve fibers with ganglion cells and nerves. There are no specialized excretory organs in the animals. The tube feet help excretion. Sexes are separate. Some animals reproduce by asexual means also. Division of the body helps the formation of two separate individuals. The eggs of these may serve as food. Sea cucumber is used by the Chinese for the preparation of soup. These echinoderms are found along seashore and used as fertilizers. Some of the common echinoderms are sea cucumber, starfish, sea lily, brittle star, sea urchin.
You can observe the eggs of the starfish, and this is sea cucumber. And usually this will easily undergo propagation by regeneration. Okay, this completes the diversity in living organisms. And the last chapter in biology is, okay, it's not last chapter. We have 3 more chapters. Why do we fall ill? Natural resources, improvement in food resources. Okay, this I'll be showing this videos on Monday. Okay, without missing, you can join the classes on Monday. Okay, thank you one and all for your visit and learning the concepts. Try to note down important points, and that will be very helpful for your pre-test and post-test. Today we'll be having the pre-test. Get ready for test.